Before you step foot on the world's newest and biggest cruise ship, there are 50 things you need to know. From where to sit at shows, to how to skip the water slide lines, to the best spots for poolside shade. Nail these, and your cruise won't just be fun, it'll feel effortless. Hey y'all, I'm Evan with Family at Sea, where we help make every cruise unforgettable. We just got back from the Star of the Seas, and let me tell you, this ship is full of surprises. Some made our trip smoother than expected, and others, well, let's just say they caught us off guard. But after figuring it all out the hard way, we came home with 50 must-know tips to help you cruise smarter. I'm keeping these quick and to the point so you can get the most out of your cruise without wasting a second. And tucked in with all the rest, a tip that'll save you 5 minutes every time you need to cross the ship. You're not going to want to miss that one, so if you're ready, I am. Let's go. Before you even set foot on this ship, there are a few smart moves that'll make your cruise way smoother. And one of the easiest ones, locking in those hard-to-get entertainment reservations before everyone else even knows they're live. Royal doesn't announce when reservations for shows drop, they just show up. So check the app in your sailing's Facebook group daily, especially around 45 days before your cruise, so you're ready to pounce the moment they go live. Wait too long and the best shows will vanish. Check-in opens exactly 45 days before your cruise at midnight Eastern Time. Download the app, stay logged in, and have your travel docs and photos ready. Early boarding slots go fast, and grabbing one means shorter lines, less chaos, and more time to enjoy the ship. This ship is massive, and finding your way around can feel like a maze, especially early on. So review the deck plans from a site like cruisedeckplans.com ahead of time and familiarize yourself with where the pools, dining, and shows are. It'll save you from wandering around the ship aimlessly on day one. Unless that's part of the fun for you. No judgments here. You won't have time to do everything, so do not wing it. Pick your must-do shows, restaurants, activities, and pools ahead of time. That way you'll board with a game plan and leave without regrets. A little prep means more time enjoying and less time deciding. If you're thinking about braving Crown's Edge, check prices on port days. They're usually lower than sea days, and you'll skip the big crowds and save some cash in the process. Just make sure it doesn't overlap with any excursions or beach naps you've got planned. Yes, the Star is massive and usually stable, but even big ships can rock when the seas get rough. So pack motion sickness meds just in case, especially if you're prone to it. It's way better to have it and not need it than the other way around. Prices on the Star are not cheap, and they usually don't drop. Your best shot at locking in a decent fare is booking at least 8 months out, because as rooms fill up, rates climb fast, especially for suites and popular sailing. So do not wait around hoping for a deal. And let's be real, booking early on only helps if you're booking smart. And that's why we always book through Cruises It. They don't just find low fares, they find the best rooms, perks, and port days you'd miss on your own. And they've saved us from some really close calls, unlike our buddy Frank, who accidentally booked a flight home before his cruise even ended. Frank, buddy, unless you've hijacked Doc's DeLorean from the Back to the Future show on board, that itinerary needs a serious rewrite. With their low price guarantee and actual humans who know cruising inside and out, Cruises It makes planning your trip easier and a whole lot less stressful. So click the link in the description or give them a call using the number on the screen below and let them know that Evan from Family at Sea sent you. You'll be glad you did. Now that you've set yourself up for a smooth start, let's make sure your actual room and a few tech tricks work just as hard for you. Stuck in an interior room, tune your TV to the map and bridge or ship camera channel and see a live forward view of the ocean. It won't replace sunshine, but it's a welcome dose of sea scenery when you're indoors. Don't wait until the last night to hunt down your cruise photos. Open the Royal app and tap photos to view, favorite, and even purchase them right from your phone. It's way easier than sorting through hundreds of photos at the kiosk. Instead of waiting forever at guest services, use the Royal Caribbean's app chat feature. You can get help with billing issues, reservations, and random questions without leaving your lounger or your mimosa. It's the fastest way to get answers without sacrificing sunshine or sanity. Packing cubes aren't just for overachievers. They're a game changer in cruise cabins where drawer space is tight. Unpack in seconds, stay organized all week, and avoid the dreaded suitcase explosion on the floor. And a bonus, they make repacking at the end way less painful. Many public spaces have hidden power outlets. These are great for charging phones, laptops, or camera gear without heading back to your cabin. The Overlook and Pearl Cafe are two of the best spots with comfy seating and solid views while you top off your battery. Alright, your cabin's dialed in and the tech hacks are working. Now let's make sure you don't miss a single wow moment on board. Even with a reservation, you'll want to line up early if you care about your seat. For our 9:45 p.m. show, they opened the gates at 8:55 p.m., but folks started lining up at 8:30. Want front and center? Treat it like general admission tickets to a concert. Not all seats at the Aqua Theater are created equal. Some don't have backs, and that show is not short. Pick out a spot with a backrest so you're not stuck leaning forward or shifting the whole time. Because let's be real, comfort matters when you're watching people backflip into a pool. Even without a reservation, you can still catch most shows thanks to the standby line. Unclaimed seats get released a few minutes before showtime, but it's first come, first serve, and the spots are usually scattered or not ideal. Still, it's better than missing out entirely. Dueling Pianos is one of the most popular venues on board, and for good reason. But if you want an actual seat and not just a spot to lean awkwardly on a railing, you'll need to show up well before showtime. It fills up super fast, especially on sea days. Many of the big production shows like Back to the Future and the Royal Theater offer matinee performances on sea days. These midday showings are way less crowded, so you'll snag better seats without needing to arrive super early. Plus, it frees up your evenings for dinner and other activities. While everyone flocks to Dueling Pianos or the music hall, smaller venues like the Schooner Bar and Boleros often have surprisingly talented performers where you can actually find seats and have intimate vibes. These are perfect for a more relaxed vibe if you want to strike up a conversation with a new friend. And on a similar note, Lou's Jazz and Blues is a great under-the-radar venue in Central Park that has a smooth, relaxed vibe, perfect for a pre-dinner drink or slower-paced evening. It's rarely crowded, and the live jazz sets the perfect mood for a night of cruising. And one more bonus tip before we move on to the next section. When you get to the Aqua Theater, you're going to see a very long line going down the very center, but there's also two lines, one on each side of the theater. Go to those. The lines are shorter, and they actually open the ropes for those to let people in before the center line. So we, standing on the left side, were able to get prime seats right in the middle of the theater before the people in the center even had a chance. Once the shows are over and the crowds start moving, it's time to talk about getting around the ship without losing your sanity. On most mega ships, elevators are a nightmare, but these are surprisingly efficient. We rarely use the elevators on cruise ships, so we can burn some extra calories to fight off all those extra drinks and snacks, but when we did, we rarely waited more than a minute. Just steer clear of them right after the shows, unless you're in awkward elevator bonding sessions. The public restrooms on board have a maddening delay before the door opens fully, and when it closes, if you lock it too early, the door keeps trying to open loudly. Just wait the extra 2 seconds until it's shut all the way closed before you hit that lock, or prepare for chaos and confusion. Here's a little shortcut that most people miss. The color of the cabin signs in the hallways actually tell you where you are on the ship. Green means forward, teal means midship, and blue means aft. Once you know that, you'll stop wandering around like you're stuck in a maze after every elevator ride. There's an easy to miss escalator that takes you straight from deck 5 to the casino on deck 4. You'll find it right across from the Pearl and the Royal Promenade near the 1400 lobby bar. It's the quickest way into Casino Royale without winding through the music hall or having to pass through the smoking section of the casino. If you ever feel turned around, and on a ship this size you will, check the deck maps in the elevator bays. They'll show you exactly what's on each deck so you can plan your next move without guessing or digging through the app. It's the fastest way to avoid the classic shuffle of, where was that place again? Remember that tip I teased at the beginning? The one that saves you 5 minutes every time you need to cross the ship? This is it. There is a little known staircase tucked behind the Pearl sculpture right beside the Pearl Cafe on deck 6. It takes you directly from the Royal Promenade up to Central Park on deck 8, so you don't have to walk all the way to the forward or aft stairwells just to change decks. If you're trying to get from the Royal Promenade to Central Park, this is the fastest way to get there, with no crowds, no detours, and no need to wait for an elevator. Now that you know how to navigate this ship like a pro, let's make sure you don't waste your first meal fighting the crowds. If you board hungry, skip the Windjammer buffet. It's always slammed on embarkation day. Head to the Aquadome Market instead. It's quick, has plenty of seating, and offers a surprising variety of grab-and-go dishes most people don't even realize are included. Not everything on board is included, even at venues that look free. So always check the signage near each food station or ask a crew member when ordering, or extra unintended charges may show up on your bill if you're not paying attention. Deserted milkshake bar looks fun, but the milkshakes cost extra and honestly, they're not that good. They're super sweet, kind of artificial tasting, and way overpriced. If you're craving something cold and indulgent, you're better off heading to the Surfside Eatery and grabbing a soft serve ice cream and adding toppings from the buffet for free. If you're craving sushi but don't want to sit down for a full meal, Izumi has a takeout window where you can grab fresh rolls on the go. Just know it's not included, so whether you dine in or take out, you'll be paying extra, but it's fast, fresh, and a nice option if you're willing to splurge. Some of the best drinks on the ship aren't coming from the big pool bars. They're tucked away at spots like Ryan Bean and the Lemon Post. These venues have creative menus and are much less crowded. If you've got the drink package, don't settle for boring. The early seating in the main dining room might sound like something your grandparents would pick, but hear me out. It frees up your whole evening for prime showtimes, late night comedy, aqua theater performances, and those spontaneous moments that make cruising fun. Not to mention, it's when the food is the most fresh and before they run out of ingredients and have to make substitutions. Trust me, it is worth it. The Windjammer is not your only choice at lunchtime. The Surfside Eatery has its own impressive buffet with a lot less people and germs. Park Cafe has grab-and-go sandwiches and salads. Aquadome Market has unique international stations, and Base Camp serves fun bites near the slides. And Pearl Cafe is perfect for a quick refuel. These are all included and all delicious. Pier 7 in the Surfside neighborhood offers California-inspired dishes like shrimp tostadas, fish tacos, burgers, and waffle platters, but it's not cheap, and it isn't very kid-friendly despite being right next to the kid-friendly areas. With Surfside Eatery right across the way that's completely free, you're better off saving your money. If you had the drink package, skip Starbucks and head to the Pearl Cafe instead. It's just a few steps away, and it serves quality espresso drinks that are included at no extra charge. Most people walk right past it on their way to Starbucks without realizing they've already paid for something just as good. Now, speaking of exclusive dining, if you splurged on a suite, you've unlocked a whole different cruise experience. But to actually enjoy those perks without frustration, a little strategy goes a long way. If you're in a Sky Class suite or higher, do yourself a favor and pick a room at the forward of the ship. That's where all the suite perks are. Coastal Kitchen, the Suite Lounge, the Grove, and staying in a aft cabin means you'll be hiking across a floating football field every time you want to use them. Coastal Kitchen is reserved for Sky Class guests and higher, but it fills up fast, and not just with suite guests. Any spots left over are offered to Pinnacle members and even some C-Class guests, so if you don't lock in your dinner reservations early, you might find yourself stuck with awkward dining times or even turned away completely, so do not wait. A week before you're sailing, your suite concierge will email you. Don't ignore it. They can handle hard-to-get show reservations, answer questions, and handle special requests before you even board, and you can continue to email them during your cruise for anything you may need. It's like having a backstage pass. Use it. The Surfside Family Suites are rooms that make some serious compromises, but are currently the cheapest way to get access to Sky Class amenities. But beginning in May 2026, they're being demoted to C-Class, which means they'll lose access to the Suite Lounge and the Grove. Combining that with their lack of storage and a sofa bed that's already too small for all but the smallest of kids, and what you're left with is a vastly overpriced room with lots of noise from the Surfside neighborhood below. It may have a splashy name, but it has an inflated price tag, and there are much better options. Sky Class guests can currently get free beer and wine at the Grove Bar all day, but rumors are this perk may soon end. This is a peaceful spot and one of the best bars on the entire ship, so enjoy it while you can. Suite guests get priority boarding, but it only pays off if you actually use it. So arrive by 10:30 a.m. and you'll be amongst the first on the ship, giving you a head start to explore, relax, and snag reservations before the crowds pour in. But of course, not everything has to be about perks and upgrades. Sometimes the best cruise moments are just about kicking back and soaking it all in. When it's time to unwind, the ship's got plenty of ways to chill, literally. If you're looking for a shady spot poolside, head to the Chill Island on deck 15. That's where the Royal Bay Pool and Cove Pool are located, and they offer shaded loungers with ocean views. So the sun-baked main deck has you roasting. This spot lets you cool down without missing the action. While Royal Bay gets all the attention, the smaller Cove Pool on the same deck offers a more relaxed vibe, shaded loungers, and fewer crowds. It's a great escape when the main pool scene gets a little too intense. The Hideaway Adults Only Infinity Pool has amazing views and an upbeat vibe, but there's not a single shaded lounger in sight. If you plan to spend time there, bring a hat, sunglasses, and a reef-safe sunscreen, or risk turning into a lobster before lunchtime. If you want to try the water slides, do it immediately after boarding. Most guests are distracted by lunch or trying to get access to their rooms, so you'll skip the long lines and hit every slide with no wait. Then later in the cruise, you'll know which ones are worth waiting for if you want to go again. If you plan to go on the water slides, leave the chunky bracelets and hoop earrings in your room because the crew's gotta make you take them off anyways before you're allowed to go down the water slides. Save yourself the hassle and come slide ready with minimal accessories so you're not stuck holding up the line, or worse, making the walk of shame back to your lounger. Each slide on the Star has its own height and weight requirements, and they're strictly enforced. To avoid disappointment or a wasted walk up all those stairs, check the posted signs or the Royal app before lining up, especially if you're cruising with kids or teens. The swim up bar gets packed fast, and if you wait too long, you'll be shoulder to shoulder just trying to get a drink. If you plan to go there, head there right after breakfast to lock down a lounger or in-pool seat before the music cranks up and the day party kicks off. The ship is never quieter than when most passengers are short. If the port doesn't excite you, stay on board. You'll have your pick of loungers, no waits for slides, and peaceful pools. It's like having your own private resort without ever leaving the ship. I saved this one for last because honestly, it's my favorite tip of them all. There's just something magical about watching the sun dip below the horizon from one of those raised pods or plush loungers in the overlook. The views, the vibe, everything about it is pure peace. But here's the thing, not every sailing direction gives you that view. You'll need the ship to be heading west in the evening for the sunset to line up, so be intentional, check your itinerary, and plan ahead. Part of me didn't even want to share this because if too many people find out, it may lose that serene, tucked away feeling. But if you time it right, it'll be the single moment you remember most of the entire cruise. Now here's the bad news. Even on a ship this incredible, there are still a few missteps and things that Royal Caribbean didn't quite nail. And if you're booking a vacation this big, you deserve to know exactly what you're walking into. But the good news, I've already got you covered. So don't stop here. Come hang out with me in the next one where I'll spill the tea on what truly delivered and what left us wondering why we even bothered. If you're ready, I am. Let's go.